There was a time when I wasn't really forward thinking. And I thought to myself, life doesn't have to be so serious. It could be a game. So I told myself, you need to Gameboy Advanced. That's what we're talking about today. Our favorite Game Boy Advance games here on this podcast is for nerds.
How you doing today, Zach?
Pretty good. I actually played through some of these games over the last week, and I've realized that some of the ones I've come to love or thought I loved, while the gameplay may still be there, holy crap, I am not 12, and the storyline is just god-awful.
Yeah, so this was, I think we talked about it in the last episode. I think this is more of your console than mine. I'm not this, so like all the handhelds up until probably the DS were basically Pokemon consoles for me. That's all I did with them. So
to be fair, that's for a lot of people, that's what they were. I will say that I came to play these games once I found the emulator, but they fall into the Game Boy land nonetheless. And I've heard from a little birdie that you have also found a lot of fun playing with the Game Boy emulators.
Yeah, we were supposed to record this, I don't know, 3-4 days ago, and I texted you the day we were planning on recording. And I was like, "Hey, can we push this?" Because so I got my boy working, and I paid for it. I spent the $5 for the
I did too. Don't worry,
the premium version, so worth it. And then I was playing a few games with the touchpad, like the screen, and I was like, oh, I wonder if I can hook up my Xbox One controller to my phone, and I totally could. So I was having a ton of fun, and I kind of dug around like, what are the games I should be looking? Because really, for me, the Game Boy Advance was literally what came out on the Game Boy Advance: Pokemon Emerald,
Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Fire Red, Leaf Green. I think Heart Gold and Soul Silver were both DS games.
That sounds about right. There, I didn't play those, so yeah. I mean, for me, this console was mostly just Pokemon.
The Pokemon emulator. I played a lot more. I definitely played the Pokemon games. I think I played a lot more like tactics games on this one. Like okay. I played like the 2 Yu-Gi-Oh games that were on this because for some reason I was into Yu-Gi-Oh at the time.
I mean, who wasn't?
Girls.
Oh, true. That's why
that's wrong. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna backtrack that. That's incorrect.
Yeah, that's I guess that's not fair.
It's not fair. It's just I didn't know any, and it sucked.
Yeah, exactly. we were not looking in the right places for these girls that were playing these games.
And honestly, I will say too, I am very stoked that like the gamer girl community is super strong. Because I was talking to someone the other day about a game. I was playing Mortal Kombat. And then someone was like, "Oh yeah, I played that game." I was like, "Really? That's not what I grew up knowing." Is people, girls specifically, who wanted to do brutalities. But it was awesome. So
yeah,
you never know.
It's been making a turn. There was Gamergate, which was trash, and
I don't know what that is actually.
We don't need to get into it, but I'm so happy to see more girls in gaming. I think it's almost like a 50-50 split at this point. I think they've done studies as far as the breakdown between men and women and that play video games. So that's awesome. I'm all for it.
We are all together as one.
All right.
So all of you to fall to my blue eyes white dragon, as you will all lose versus me.
I still have that somewhere in this room. I know I have my blue eyes, and it is mint.
It's probably hidden behind your Star Wars collection, your Star Wars picture, because you don't want the cats to get to it.
That's true. Yeah, they're pretty sneaky. So this podcast is for nerds. I guess we don't really do an intro that often, an official intro. Zach always has his awesome segment intros, but you can follow us on social media. We have a Twitter and an Instagram that Zach runs for us. On Twitter, we're this pod is the number 4 nerds. Instagram, it's this pod is 4 nerds, spelled out the 4. And I think we asked last week if anyone had any favorite Game Boy Advance games. Did we get any submissions? Probably not, but
Honestly,
I'd ask.
I asked around just in person also.
Yeah.
We kind of had the same consensus where people were like, oh, Pokemon games. I was like, oh, all right.
All right, fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I am drinking a Treebeard IPA from Arbor Brewing Company. Are you drinking anything, Zach?
I am drinking a liquid IV hydration powder right now because
Ooh.
I was outside a lot today and I'm a little dehydrated.
Yeah, gotta stay hydrated, man.
Need to get that back. So
Gotta be a hydro homie.
we do. That should be if we ever like LARPed a Team Rocket, we should be the Hydro Homies.
Oh, I like that. We'll just have giant water bottles.
We're here to quench your thirst and steal your Pokemon.
Yeah, and your girls. Okay, so let's get into it. Our favorite Game Boy Advance games. Do we want to talk about the console itself or just get into the games?
I say we should talk about how a console that was released in Japan in 2001 and North America later on in 2001 went on to sell over 81.5 million copies worldwide as of 2010. But we don't have to.
That's interesting because wait, 2010 were they making it up until 2010? That's amazing.
And it could be that they're still being sold at swap meets and stuff like that too, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. For me, growing up, this was like the first. There weren't many handhelds before this. The Game Boy Color and the Game Boy, but this is like the console I remember everyone bringing to school.
And
like everyone had this.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I had the purple one.
I had a frost clear one.
Oh, where you could see the internals?
Yes.
That's super cool. It reminds me of I'm guessing they did that because the N64 controller was so popular. Where you could see inside of it.
Flashback to the last episode where we talked about how much Calvin hates the N64 controllers.
It's trash, dude. I will die on that hill. It was a garbage controller. That said, I do have two of them.
Well, he's married, but let's put that why. He has to have two.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. All the gaming now, my wife is like all in on gaming. So she's addicted. She's ready for her own PC rig, and her hours got reduced during COVID. So I bought her Fallout 76 because the Fallout series is like her favorite video game series, probably.
I'm amazed that you spent money on that.
Oh, dude, I know. Like I warned her before I bought it. I was like, there was a free weekend. And I was like, play it and see if it's a good fit, and then we'll go. And she like loves it. I've not heard good things.
Okay.
And like the stuff I've seen, it feels like a Fallout game, but the soundtrack is pretty weak, to be honest. There's like 10 songs.
We should have a whole another episode about how we would fix musically Fallout 76.
Oh, I'm down with that. Yeah, that'd be a good episode. All right,
it would.
So you had the see-through. That's really cool. Were you like one of the only ones in your group that had that?
I feel like I had. I think so because I think everyone else had solid. But I was rocking the see-through for up until it died. Actually. I think I gave it to my little brother, actually. I can't remember now.
Did you have a Game Boy Color or the original Game Boy?
I had the Color, and I knew someone down the street who had the original, which took 4 freaking batteries.
I know, it's insane. That thing was huge. I look back at it because my stepbrother handed it down to me when he was done with it. And I didn't play it that much, but looking back, I was like, Jesus, this thing was huge. And then I had the Game Boy Color as well. I had the disgusting green one.
I did have a purple Game Boy Color.
Oh, nice.
Purple Game Boy Color with a Pokemon yellow sticking up the back, so it had a pretty sweet color combination.
I'm down with more purple in video game console designs. Let's bring that back. Obviously, no game developer or console makers listen to this, but man, purple's a good aesthetic.
They may bring purple back if the remake of Saints Row is actually any good.
Oh, are they doing a remake?
Yes. Oh, sorry, not a remake. A remaster is the.
Oh, nice. Which one are they remastering?
3.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's a good remaster. I was gonna say if they're gonna do like 4 or what was the It's like the one in Hell. What is that one called?
That's technically a DLC. You get out of
Yeah,
Hell.
right. Yeah. I mean, it felt standalone in a way, but it was definitely DLC.
I enjoyed it. It was just, for me, basically, it was you getting to play as Johnny Gat when he, spoilers for those who haven't played the Saints Row series. It's a goofy version of, it's its own standalone thing. It's like a goofy take on how Grand Theft Auto was super serious and trying to be realistic. This game does not do that. So
yeah,
it
feels good.
A little more.
It's like the Skate to the Tony Hawk. I always bring up skateboarding games, but like Tony Hawk was clearly like an arcadey simulation. Skate was a little more like simulator realistic. It's like GTA and Saints Row, because man, Saints Row is so much fun. I have such a good time with that game.
I have a ton of fun with it.
But that is not what this episode was about.
It's not. But that's how this I have words. I know the English language. That's the whole point of this show, though. We pop in and stuff happens and makes it random. But let's get back to Game Boy Advance. I had I don't know the initial title, but the frosted clear one. And it was dope.
Yeah. That's cool, man. I really enjoyed the layout. This felt very modern. We were like transit. It wasn't 16:9, but we were getting to that stage. It was much easier to hold. My God, it was much easier to hold. And then they added shoulder buttons, which added a whole new layer. I think it was a super solid. It's like looking back of all the Nintendo handhelds. If we don't count Switch, I think I would put the DS and then Game Boy Advance. I think I just kind of go backwards as far as release goes. I think they've really iterated well.
The DS was a cool concept. I personally just liked the wider screen on the Advance.
Yeah. Yeah, the nice thing was, and you could do this with the original DS, but it was really nice you could play original Game Boy games on the Game Boy Advance. Like, that was super cool, and it's so weird, like, it seemed like Nintendo was very backwards compatible with their handhelds for a while, and now that's, like, completely abandoned, which is a bummer.
I mean, it's a bummer, but I also kind of get it. At some point, you have such a big gap in technology, it's harder to do it. And I think they add a bunch of games to like their library you can just download for the Switch.
Oh, totally. Yeah, they've got Retro Console, which is super cool. You can play NES and SNES games on it, but yeah. So I don't really have anything else to say about the console itself.
I will say that holy crap, the thing ate battery like it was nobody's business.
Oh man, I don't remember that.
Yeah, this is before you had either rechargeable batteries or like you couldn't plug these in and charge them up. Like
no, yeah, rechargeable AA's were not really a thing back then, right?
No,
I mean, it might have been, but I didn't have them. Yeah, I was 11 when this came out, so I was lucky to keep buying batteries or taking them out of the remote at my house. Oh, totally, man. We had 2 cable boxes in our house, and I would definitely pull the batteries out of one of the cable remotes just so I could keep playing whatever Pokemon game I was playing.
Did you ever do the whole, I'm going to pull out one battery and hopefully I'll keep the dead one alive long enough to actually...
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
Everyone who's born past 1998 is kind of going, what are they talking about? Like, this is not a thing.
Oh, you're so lucky. Like now that we've got like unified USB-C is like everything now. Oh, it did not used to be that way.
And don't get me wrong, I'm actually not even like I'm not one of those older people who's like, you guys didn't know what it was like. I'm like, fuck yeah, I don't have to worry about this anymore.
Oh, totally. No, it is not a kids get off my lawn moment at all. I'm so happy
how super far we've moved.
Yeah, totally. No, I remember I ended up buying. It was like this was like when I got my first paycheck. This would have been high school, like end of high school probably. and they had a Pikachu. I think it was a Japan exclusive Game Boy Advance, and it was gold, and it was so sick. And I spent so much money on it. That was like one of my big first purchases with a paycheck.
I think my big first purchase with a paycheck was a Motorola Razr.
Nice. Everyone had those, man. Yes. That phone was the shit.
And this is back when Singular was
Singular wireless before AT&T bought them.
Yep. Again, another company, people were like, who the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, Singular wireless. I think we had, because our family was like an AT&T family, so we must have had it, and I just didn't know, because I didn't get my first cell phone until would have been sophomore year of high school, probably. So like 2008, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. My Razr was the original one, and it was funny because I didn't realize it, but when it actually had the original like Singular wireless logo, like on the back.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I think mine had the AT&T, so it must have been post purchase. Have you seen what they did to the new one? Have you seen the new Razr that came out?
I haven't, because I'm a Galaxy boy now.
Oh yeah, no, I'm certainly not buying any Motorola products. I found it interesting. So they brought it back. They brought back the Razr because it was so popular.
20 years ago, like literally 20 years ago.
Right. Yeah. And it's basically the same shape. And it's a foldable phone, and it's like the screen folds, but they were selling it for, I think, like $1,700.
Oh, you know what? I think I may have seen something about this, because someone was talking about
it was like late last year. I think it came out.
I think someone was mentioning like having a foldable phone. And I just laughed at how stupid that was.
Hey, to be fair, Samsung has done that as well.
Oh, I know, but I also didn't buy it, so
I feel so bad for the people that did.
I don't. I can't.
Well, I guess when a new technology comes out, it's a brand new technology, and everyone knows that. If you are an early adopter, now let's get into marketing. This is my thing. You're an early adopter, you need to realize that you're going to be dealing with a lot of growing pains, because it's a new technology and it hasn't really been tested by the wide public. So yeah, I can understand not having really any sympathy for these people, because they spent, I think the Galaxy Fold was like I want to say it was like $1,600 or something like that. I'm not sure, but I am looking at the hinges on this Razr as you talk about it, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, from a technology standpoint, this is pretty cool. However, from a user standpoint, and this thing bouncing around in my pocket all the time, I would never pay for this. No, I don't think I would either. But I also have an issue with, like, I hate how big phones are getting. And I long for the day.
Make you feel self-conscious?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm like, well, Jesus, now it's, I'm not even going to finish that. But I like my friend had, so I rock a Pixel phone, and my buddy up until recently had an iPhone 5S. And I held it. I was like, oh my God, this is like the perfect size phone. This is exactly what I need.
I love that iPhone uses like the S at the end of their things, because like, yes, the iPhone, like the iPhone 4 was my favorite. The iPhone 4S was iPhone for suckers. That's what I kept saying, because it was hilarious.
It's so weird, like the naming schemes, and Google is so bad at this too. So instead of doing the S, they do A for whatever reason. I don't know what it means, but it's so confusing, because like I wanted to buy the iPhone 11 at 11 Pro Max or something. It's too many things. It's
basically like buying a car these days. It's just
exactly. It's like, what's under the hood? Like, what liter engine are we running on this iPhone? Like,
I laugh now that everyone has they have 4 different cameras on their phones. And I was like, wow, again, from a QA standpoint, that's really dumb. But from a knowing your consumer base standpoint, and people love taking pictures, and the social media platforms you can use to get more partnerships with. By the way, check us out on Instagram at This Podcast Is For Nerds. No reason, just check it out.
Just check it out. Yeah, there might be
social media is great. Anyway,
yeah.
I mean, it's a great way to know your fan base. I personally am not looking. I'm not going to upgrade. I think I have a Galaxy Note 8. because I wait a couple years just to see what happens.
Yeah, the newest one is 10, right? So you're like 2 years behind, because that's about where I'm at too. I think I'm almost, it'll be 3 years this fall behind, and I haven't had a phone come out that's been enough for me to shell out, because these phones are getting so expensive. Like, at least, there's like this new mid-range that's happening, which I'm all for. The Pixel line has it. They've got like a mid-range line. The iPhone has it. They just released the iPhone SE. Like, I'm tired of spending $800 on a cell phone when I can spend, 3 or 4 and it'll last me, 3 years plus.
And not only that, but it's getting to the point, too, where those affordable options have to come into play, because this isn't just a luxury item anymore. This is something that, like, is a necessity. So for me, when I go shopping for a new phone, and we just turned into a buying phone episode, surprise, it's not about Game Boys anymore. You guys got suckered into it, because that's how nerds like to roll. Yes. We came in with one topic, and we flipped it on your heads and gave you another. So this is about how not to get suckered by buying a cell phone you don't need. Too bad. It goes with every other thing in your life, honestly. Yeah. I go for what I know I need. Like, I don't need 14 cameras. And for someone who's saying, hey, I'm trying to decide between buying a super awesome camera or a really good phone, but they can do both and still get their work done, hey, I'm all for it. Get the super crazy awesome phone. You're actually saving money because you're not buying 2 separate items that you need to insure and keep safe.
Yeah, do your research.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Please do your homework.
It is important.
I'm gonna have to draw us. I'm gonna have to take the head pictures that we have of us and like put cell phones next to them for this episode. And, like,
I love it. Not a Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, I'll put sunglasses on us and then put the put a cell phone next to us. So this is what this became. How to buy a cell phone.
I'm gonna steer us back. All right, what's your first game you want to talk about from the Game Boy Advance?
Oh, sorry. First game we're going to talk about today. Because I have 2 games that are tactics-based games. One, I enjoyed playing the gameplay for both of these games, but one of them aged well as far as like storyline and interest, and the other one, I was just so fucking annoyed. And I think this is just kind of the way with a lot of particular games from this era. This is Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. There were 2 of these on the Game Boy. I think one was Game Boy Advance and one was Game Boy SP. Man, just any story you have that focuses around kids in like a fantasy world, I get it. You're going to have like emotional, weird stuff where it's just a bunch of crybaby nonsense. But holy fuck, this game lays it on thick. I'll lay down the basic premise. You and your friends, you're a new kid at a school. Another kid's getting picked on. You stand up for him or whatever. And then he has a book and his life is crap. His mom passed away. His dad became an alcoholic basically afterwards. So it just kind of start pulling at the strings pretty early on. And so you invite this kid to your house with some other friends of yours, and you guys start reading this book you found at the library. And you guys are like, oh, this book's so crazy. What's going on? And it's like he's reading spells. And was like, oh, haha, this would be crazy. Feels like this sounds like something from Final Fantasy. Oh, cool. Shameless plug for your own game that we're sitting here playing because we know it's a Final Fantasy game. Why was this written this way?
Dude, the Final Fantasy games get like, sometimes they get like weirdly meta. And I love it. I really love it.
This one in particular just pissed me off. I don't know why. I think like I love fourth wall breaks. But this one, I was just like, maybe it's just I have played this game a lot. Like I played the story many times. So maybe what I am also experiencing is just like annoyance of like tutorials and just wanting to play the game. So once I get past all the intro stuff, I do enjoy the fighting mechanics and like the loot system of this game. Long story short, it's like an isekai. You end up inside the Final Fantasy world. You got to figure out how basically the kid used a spell to make his life perfect. He's a tyrant, and you got to fight him and wake his ass up and get back to the real world. It's a great game, I would say. It's just the storyline as far as like the characters and everything. You're just like, oh my god, why are you guys talking so much? Can we just fight?
So this is a favorite of yours, though, right?
It is. Like from a fighting standpoint, like I just kind of like mash A through all the tutorials because I know how to beat the game. It's not terribly difficult.
Yeah.
And I do love, Final Fantasy games. I think it's the same though. Like Kingdom Hearts 3 came out recently, and I'm like, okay, cool. This was something I waited for when I was like 15, and there weren't like 14 other games across 5 other platforms for me to catch up on with the story.
Oh yeah,
I don't care what the hell Sora's doing anymore. Like,
so do you know? Like, so there's like 10 games in between 1, 2, and 3 that are like not main story. Is that all canon? Like, do I need to?
It's canon. You have to like play it to understand what's going on.
Oh God, no, I can't do it, man. Like, I think I would have cared less if I was still a kid when 3 came around, because like 1 and 2 is just like, I was young enough where I was just like, oh, Disney characters, this is fun, and like the combat's really good. I'm not like super invested in the story. I think I'd be a little more frustrated with this third one. I've watched some people play it, but I never bought it. And I honestly, I don't know if I will. And this is like, I think I was a pretty big fan of the first 2.
I enjoyed the first 2 a lot. I think for me, it just came down to the fact that like, just frankly, I'm not a kid anymore. The things that appealed to me as a kid, and like, I never really cared for Disney characters that were like, well, I definitely cared for the more humanoid Disney characters. And like, Scar was one of my favorite characters. Jafar I thought was hilarious. Like, Disney does great villains, and some of their heroes are okay. But like, Donald, Goofy, well. I don't want to fight with those guys. I don't want them in my party.
No, Goofy's so annoying.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I don't care for it. Yeah, it's an interesting series, and Final Fantasy is another one of those for me, where it's like, I was super into it for a while. Like my first Final Fantasy game was Final Fantasy VII, I think.
Yes.
I played 6 later on. Probably my fondest memory is of 10.
10 was great.
Like, yeah, 10 was like, it was when I started like, I think, recognizing there's like good storytelling in video games sometimes. Not necessarily that Final Fantasy X had a great story. I thought it was good enough.
I think it had a pretty good story.
Yeah, I mean,
I think Seymour's a complete dick, and holy crap, did I want to beat the like. That's the thing. If a game pulls you in to like have a villain that's so good, you want to beat this dude's ass.
Yeah, it's good acting. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think I'm one of the few people that actually enjoyed Blitzball. Every time I talk to my friends about Blitzball, they're like,
I always skip it.
Oh yeah, every time I talk to somebody about it, they're like, oh, that was the worst part about Final Fantasy. I was like, oh, that is like one of my favorites. I love it.
I could never get the controls down, honestly. I just didn't. I think time I tried, I got it, and after a while, I was like, okay, I want my summons. Where's Bahamut? Where's my boy? Where's my shiny boy?
Absolutely. Well, in your defense, I only started playing that game. It's funny, like my whole anime like love of Japanese culture came from a babysitter when I was a kid. He was like super into Japanese culture and anime, and he got me into it. He's a weeb.
Okay.
No, it's all good.
Okay, I wasn't sure where this was going.
No, it wasn't.
What kind of anime? He's like, hey, little Calvin, check out a waifu.
Oh, there was one. He had me watch Chobits, which I feel like in retrospect.
Wait, how old were you when you watched Chobits?
Okay, so I'm gonna look up when did it come out, because he definitely had the rip of it. So we watched it probably when it aired. No, maybe a little bit later. Okay, yeah, no, because it was like, it came out in 2000, so I probably watched it. I was like probably 9 or 10. I feel like that's too young for that. Oh anime.
No, your formative years, my friend.
There's some sexual situations.
You should not have watched that when you were 10.
Probably not. Anyways, He was very good. He like understood the Blitzball really well, because he was 18 at this point. So like,
it's getting weirder.
I know. Nothing happened, Zach. But I had a good handle on Blitzball, is all I'm saying. And I really enjoyed it. It was super fun. I think
I had a friend who showed me once, and then I got it. But after a while, I was like, I think I played it seriously once. But I was like, it's just to advance the story. So I didn't try and go back and play it, I guess.
Yeah. And it wasn't, as I recall, you didn't have to actually win the games to move the story forward.
You don't, but you could go back and play it if you wanted to. I don't think you actually got anything for it because this is before achievements, ladies and gentlemen. You had SD, you had you had a memory card. So
yeah, I think I put 300 hours into that game. I spent a lot of time riding chocobos, got all my characters to max level, got all the skill trees.
Shout out to Team Orin.
Oh yeah,
best fighter.
Oh, it's funny. I liked what was her name that had all the little puppets?
Oh, Lulu.
Yeah, she was my favorite.
Everyone likes Lulu.
Yeah, she was cute. So
definitely started the whole goth bay.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I think that's where that it awoken my love of goth girls. I think that game.
We should scrap this episode. This is getting so weird.
seen a side of me. Yeah, but I just feel like that way about Final Fantasy the way I do about Kingdom Hearts. Like, I'm so removed because like the last one I played was 10-2. And now we're like so far in, and there's an MMO RPG out there that I haven't touched, and I feel like I'm so behind on the story that like I'm even daunted playing the Final Fantasy VII remake because I know they added so much.
I will tell you this: that each story technically is encapsulated in its own world for the most part. I think 10-2 is the only one that didn't do that.
That's true.
So. And I watched gameplay for the for the 7 remake, and it looks incredible. So
I've watched some Let's Plays, and it looks gorgeous. I just need to set aside the time because right now this is kind of timely. So in 2 days, The Last of Us Part 2 comes out.
That's right.
And I'm currently playing through Last of Us Part 1. I've already played it, but I wanted a refresher. So I've been playing that in preparation for it, and I definitely want to do a media club for Last of Us. I don't know if you've ever played those games.
I have.
Oh, you played the first one? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you like it or no?
I don't like zombie games.
Oh, that's true. We've talked about that. I figured the
storyline is great. I will say that. The story itself is great.
Yeah, I figured that might be enough to...
we can definitely do a media clip on that. The story was great. I am stoked for the second one. I just don't like zombie games, basically. But this one, I get it. The Bloom technically aren't zombies, but they're zombies.
It's definitely a zombie game. Anyone that says it's not is kind of silly. And I don't know if you've seen that they showed like 30 minutes of gameplay like last week.
I didn't see that, but I did see when the gameplay they showed at E3 not last year because it got canceled. No, last year I think.
Yeah, it would have been last year because this year got canceled.
Yeah, this year got canceled.
Wow, they're doing it virtually now.
That was the start of this podcast. We were talking about how E3 got canceled.
That was our first episode.
Actual one, I think.
It's actually a really solid episode. I thought that was some good stuff. We had some insights there. But I will say, like, the second part seems they still have the like zombies, but it seems more human on human. And apparently the gameplay is much better, that is my big gripe with the first one.
I didn't. Let's see. The last zombie game I played before Last of Us was probably Left 4 Dead. So in comparison to that, it felt like a huge leg up.
Yeah.
I just think any game that I've played, like, it's hard for me to play other games sometimes that aren't Borderlands or like how Borderlands is set up.
Yeah.
Just because like I'm not used to third-person shooters are either really great or they're really terrible.
It seems like you like. I don't want to speak for you. My assessment is you seem to like first-person shooters that are not serious, and as far as the story goes, it's like comedic and a little off the wall.
Absolutely. I think the real world has enough of that for me to not want to escape into more of it.
Totally. And I feel like I almost don't want to get Last of Us Part 2 because it is so timely with the story, because it's all about Seattle.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of a pandemic. There's a lot of fighting within the nation happening, and it's just like, oh, do I need that right now?
Yeah, and I think the last game I played, like, because I played too, like, I have played first-person shooters that were more like serious. Like, I played through, I mean, I'm going to hear people scoff, I'm sure, when I say more serious, but Halo Reach was pretty fucking heavy. And then
totally.
I played through all of the Call of Duty games up until Modern Warfare 2. I don't know. There was Activision and the other company were going back and forth a lot for like releases for Call of Duty. So I played all of them.
Yeah, there's like 3 companies. Or 16. There's like Infinity Ward, Activision, and something Hammer, I think. Yeah, so they all like take turns developing. It's really weird how they set that up.
And between that and Gears, like Gears is a pretty heavy game too. So like again, I think it's made a vow to at some point just to only play games that aided escapism. I don't.
Yeah, and I shouldn't say you don't like serious. Maybe less grounded in reality.
Oh yeah, I mean, same with someone who asked me about like, oh, how do I feel about sports anime? I'd rather go play the sport. I don't come home to sit down on my couch and watch people play volleyball. I should just go play volleyball.
Have we talked about that anime where the girls hit each other on inflatables? Have you seen that anime?
Is that Dead or Alive?
No, dude, this is a real anime. This was like, let me find it. I'm on my work laptop too.
Do not.
Okay, I'll just describe it, and if somebody listens, they can let us know.
By the way, I'm gonna keep saying that even if we get like 10 listeners. I'm gonna say, yeah, if anybody's listening, I'm just gonna keep on. Sorry about that.
There's an anime that I found on accident. I was really drunk with my friend one night, and we were just like scrolling through Crunchyroll. And there's an anime where it's a sport where these girls are on these like rafts in a pool, and they have to knock each other off, and the last one on like the rafts wins. But they can only use their butts and boobs to knock each other off the inflatables. So, and it tries to take itself very seriously. Like the main character is this girl that gets accepted to this prestigious school that's known for this sport. What? It is fucking hilarious.
I love when animes, or at least fans of animes like that, try to argue, no, it's about the... I can't even say it.
The story is very important.
The quality storyline and the emotional attachment you get with the developing characters. Stop lying to yourself.
It's you're there to see them boobies.
Yeah, it's softcore porn and you're not fooling anybody. Like,
man, we have gotten off the rails.
We super have. But to be fair...
No, Zach, no.
To be fair, we have had 7 episodes where we have stayed true to the letter without falling off the rails. And I was laughing.
That's true. I think we've been pretty good.
Yeah, I was laughing the other day because I went back and watched something that you wrote for one of the older episodes where you went, hey, we went completely off the rails in this episode and lost our topic. And I was laughing about that. So this was not intentional, but this is just what happened.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm going to talk about my game now. I played The Legend of Zelda, the Minish Cap.
Yes.
Dude, okay, yes. So I would consider myself a semi-big fan of The Legend of Zelda. It was like, I don't have any tattoos, but there was like a point in my life where I was like, if I'm going to get one tattoo, it's going to be Legend of Zelda. That's changed, but I've played a good chunk of the games, and this is one that I totally missed. I never played it. Maybe because the Game Boy Advanced. Like right now? What's that?
You just played it like this week?
Yeah, this week. I haven't beat it. Okay. I'm in the midst of it. Yeah. So yeah, literally, I literally only played Pokemon games when I owned my Game Boy Advance. So
sorry, you did say that. Okay.
Yeah. So this week I just I went through and I was like, what are some games I should check out? Like I was just Googling what I should check out. So this is one of them, and I probably put in 3 hours maybe into the game, and it is so fucking solid. Like when I look back at like people listing their favorite Zelda games, I feel like this is like an underrated Zelda game. It's super, super fun. I mean, it's like, and a big argument against the Zelda series is it they don't really like iterate that much. And I think Breath of the Wild is a pretty big exception. And my favorite Zelda game is Wind Waker. But this game is just like the mechanics are super solid. And I guess this is coming from the point of my first my first Zelda game being like Ocarina of Time and then Majora's Mask, and I never beat A Link to the Past. So like I didn't really get those
okay.
Yeah, I never beat those like top-down Zelda games. So this is like one of the first ones that I've had time to play, and the dungeons are super fun. I think they do a really good job of like introducing game mechanics to you. There's like the whole Minish thing where you can like, so there's like these little people, they're called the Minish. They're like a bug-sized race, and they live in Hyrule. And so, I mean, it's the plot is very similar to most of the Zelda games. So Zelda gets taken. This time it's not by Ganon. So at least there's a little difference there. But there's like this race of Minish, and you have the ability to like shrink in size. So it's really cool. You get to go around the world kind of twice, which is really fun. You get to go as like full-size Link, and then you also get this, like, you get to see the world from like the smaller perspective, and you get to see all these worlds that your human size could not see. So it's really fun. I thought it was a great game. Have you played this?
Yes, I have actually.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah. What did you think of it?
I thought it was great because I actually, before the official timeline or the chronology of Hyrule came out, I was just as lost with Zelda games and knowing what like to do. I just knew it was a good dungeon crawler. And we all know the famous meme, it's dangerous to go alone, take this. Oh
yeah.
I've always taken every Zelda game as an individual, Legend of Zelda game as an individual story, just because I didn't understand really how each game came and fit in the storyline. And I'm really glad that they released the official timeline because it makes a lot of sense.
It makes sense.
Some games don't line up the way they should, and also some games were ports from other games from other countries that really weren't Legend of Zelda games, weren't included on the list. So it helps like air that out. But for the Minish Cap for itself, I like the shrinking and growing mechanic. I like games where it's like, hey, we're going to tease that you'll get this power later on, but you can't have it yet. You just keep playing the game to figure out how to get it.
Totally. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it did a really good job of it, and it really reminded me a lot of. Have you played Wind Waker?
No, I have not.
Okay. Yeah, I highly recommend it. If you like this, I think you'll really like Wind Waker. It does a lot of similar things. Like, you kind of get teases like, oh, you can't go to this area yet. And I mean, they're not the first game to do this, so I'm not going to pretend like they revolutionize, like hinting at future game mechanics. But
they do hint at the fact that a chicken can literally kick the shit out of you.
Yeah, yeah. But it's the way they do it is super interesting, and like the little gachapon mechanic in Minish is they revisit that in Wind Waker, which I love. I'm such a fucking sucker for gachapon. So I just think it's a really good game. It's super solid. The obviously, you know, the dungeons are all like, there's dungeons in every Legend of Zelda game. That's like their thing. That's what they do. Right. But I really enjoyed I'm trying to think. So I'm 3 hours in. I've probably done 3 of the dungeons, 2 or 3. And they've been really fun. And I've like, you know, thinking back, like, I might have struggled quite a bit on this. Like if I was a kid playing this, like if I played this when it came out, I think I would have struggled. I still had some issues. Now having some knowledge of how the Zelda dungeons kind of work, and the thing they go through. But yes, I really love this game, and I'm so glad I found it on a list of games that I needed to try. So this is one I think everyone should check out. If you like Legend of Zelda and you've not played this game, you're definitely missing out.
Yeah, and I apologize when you texted me asking about different games you should play, and I was like, that's actually a great question because I just didn't think of it. Like a lot of the games I also played too, more action based, like the Mega Man games that were for Gameboy Advanced. But again, like the Mega Man games, I don't know. I feel like once you played one, you kind of played all of them.
Yeah, I'm not huge on, like, I can appreciate the work that went into that series and why it's so popular. It's just not really for me.
Did you play Mario Kart? You did not. You should play that game on your emulator.
No, so I'll just go through the ones that I played. I won't talk about all of them because I don't think all of them are worthy of talking about. Because there were some duds in here. So I played Minish Cap. I revisited Ruby, which was a lot of fun because there's a new DLC for the new Pokemon that I need to buy because I want to get back into that. And
wait, a new DLC for what are you talking about?
Pokemon Sword is now, so the new Pokemon has DLC, so they've added this island.
I should probably just get back into playing.
Dude, you should. It's really solid. It's very easy. Your son will have zero issue playing the game. It is. I mean, not that he would not be able to handle it, but it is it's all hand holding. It's super easy. So there's zero frustration. But I think the Pokemon that they've added into this version are really cool. I think they're a really nice addition. And they've brought in a lot of the old Pokemon. They're not all there. But I don't know if you guys have a 3DS, but you can port all your Pokemon over to this one. So they've just added a lot.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's really cool because I think there's a lot of people frustrated that not all the Pokemon were going to be in this new one, but the fact that you can port from your old saves just by linking your Nintendo account, and I think it's $1 to do it. So it's why not? Yeah, so they've just this week I think they just released new DLC, and they've basically added a new island. I think they added some new Pokemon, and right now they're doing. I think we've talked about it before, but there's raids that you can do with your friends where you battle giant Pokemon together. And,
I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's really weird, but it works. I have a really fun time doing it because everyone brings a different Pokemon to the game and they're all doing different attacks. It's a lot of fun. And it's it pairs well with Pokemon Go and Pokemon Let's Go. So yeah, I think it's a super solid game. So it was fun revisiting Ruby. I also played, I've played this series before. I've not played the Game Boy Advance version, but I played Super Monkey Ball Jr.
Oh, that's right.
And I love the Super Monkey Ball series. And this was a lot of fun. It was a nightmare to do it with the screen.
Oh yeah.
So that was that was the moment when I was I can probably connect my Xbox controller, and it was miles easier. I started but did not get far enough into Fire Emblem Sacred Stones to really to have an opinion on it. And I started Tony Hawk Underground, which in my opinion is not a good port. So
it's not. You can't take a port that size and
that game is way too ambitious to be put onto a handheld. So yeah, did you have another game you wanted to talk about? Sorry, I didn't mean to take up all that time.
Oh, dude, no, you're good. We talked about cell phones for half of this podcast.
That's true.
Honestly, the Kirby games on Game Boy Advance are all great.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, my wife is super into this series. I need to get into it. Yeah,
there's not one game I highlight because they were all really good. And honestly, again, Kirby's another one of those games where once you played one, you've kind of played all of them, so there's no point in really
Yeah.
I think I think Superstar Saga is the one that I owned, actually.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess you haven't. 'Cause I know you guys have a Switch, but have you played the new Kirby game on there?
I have honestly haven't been playing much anything right now.
Oh, okay.
To be fair.
Yeah, you're working hard. Yeah, everything's why does
that sound spiteful?
It wasn't. No,
I know. Okay, everybody. Calvin wants to throw some shade. I see.
No, you're busting ass.
All right, sir. I see you.
There's no shade. There's no shade. There's zero shade.
I just wanted to say something silly. I played Kirby Superstar Ultra and the one that came out after that. I'm not sure.
Apparently there was an anime.
There was. Don't watch it. It's terrible.
Okay, I'll avoid it.
It's from 4Kids, and everything from 4Kids was dog shit and ruined people's childhoods.
Oh, what else do I know by them?
Every anime that was on Fox, whichever Fox there was 4Kids. Okay. Sonic X. Oh god.
Oh god, yeah, no.
The first episode of Sonic X was hilarious because there was one line that we always laughed about because they didn't know what Sonic was. He crossed into our world, and like this guy, the police for some reason had like race cars, and they caught him. And he's like standing on top of the race car, and the guy's like, "Hey, you can't do this. What would the kids think?" And then Sonic looks at the screen, and he goes, "Kids don't use Formula 1 race cars to chase hedgehogs." And he gets off the.
He's got a point.
Away. Yeah, I was like, "Wow, that was super meta, and that was awesome."
Dude, I was just replaying Sonic Adventure 2 the other night.
Oh, and
that game is so much fun.
You know what? The Sonic games, I enjoyed playing those. That's definitely another episode. But up until Sonic 06 or 2006 or whichever one was like the massive like disappointment for everything. I don't remember.
Sonic Adventure 2 I think is considered bad by most people's standards, but I really love it. Yeah. So Kirby.
Yeah, I actually know that's Kirby. This Kirby story. I don't look into it too much. It's a goofy game, but you get cool powers and you get to use them to F other people up, and it's fun.
Yeah, it's great, and I don't know much about the series, but the new one that I played, relatively new, I think it was like 2 years ago. It's Kirby Star Allies. They all they have different abilities that you can add on, kind of like Mario, where like you have like the fire flower and stuff like that, where you can like burn things to like get through the level.
Yeah,
they have a lot of that. I don't know if that's been like a thing throughout the series or if that was just the one I played.
It's definitely a thing. There's a lot of replay with levels. Like that won't necessarily get to an area that has like ice blocks because you haven't beat the fire boss to get the firepower yet.
Oh, okay.
And then I think in Superstar or Ultra, once you beat a boss at the loading screen or the beginning screen of the game, you can jump up to a totem that has that boss's emblem and start off with that power. So if you lose it through the course of the game where you change powers, you're kind of screwed. But there was a lot of replay because you had to go through certain levels in certain ways to get certain enemies to open up certain areas. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's one I need to check out. I need to get into that series because Kirby is my main in Smash, so I need to know.
Kind of your main.
Kinda. I still get my ass whooped.
It's okay. I mean, I know that you wanted to be good at Smash, and life just has different plans for you.
Yeah, just not everyone can be as cool as Zach.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Actually, you know what? I need to put some time into the Switch.
Yeah, man, we need you need to add me so we can I want to like visit your guys' Animal Crossing island and stuff.
I thought I did that.
I'm friends with your wife. I'm not friends with you. I don't know if you have your own profile or if you just use hers.
What happened was when we first got the Switch, I put it under my Nintendo account and she used like her own name. But I didn't know that she already had her own Nintendo account, so what we have to do is like take off. It's weird because I have to like basically change my Nintendo account so that way it's hers and I take over hers because otherwise she'll lose all her progress. I don't want her to do that because she like loves Animal Crossing. I'm not going to make her redo any of that. So
no, yeah, that would be a nightmare.
So long story short, like that's kind of why I haven't like gotten around to doing that yet, is figuring out how to like send over her profile information to her profile and all the stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, we should definitely we should do some playing. Wow, we are already at 55 minutes and we talked about 3 Game Boy Advance games. So I guess let's do you have a business you want to shout out? this week, or do we not have one?
Honestly, I don't. Everything's opening back up. I'm super glad that, the companies that have been able to stay around. I'm so proud of you guys. And I'm shouting out all of you because COVID was crazy. Please keep your employees safe. Please keep the people that you're serving safe because this isn't done yet. It's just a temporary pause. And
second wave is definitely coming.
Yeah. And, winter is just around the corner for us, even though it just got hot. So everyone continue to be safe and monitor and
please wear a mask.
Prepare better this time. Like, don't just ignore it and be like, oh, that was crazy. We'll never see that again. Don't do that. Please learn from this.
Wear a mask. If you're sick, stay home. I don't have any business to shout out. Things are opening back up, so that's great. If you have a business that we should check out, Zach and I have floated the idea of like visiting businesses and kind of doing little posts around that. I think that'd be really fun.
I think that's a good transition too, because I feel like it'll keep our activity page pretty high. It'll keep our local businesses pretty involved. And also, like, I don't know. I feel like it's a way to add more than just 2 businesses a week when we do this. So
I think it's a little more personal. Follow us on Instagram at This Pod is 4 Nerds. You spell out that 4. Twitter, we're at This Pod is the number 4 Nerds. Let us know what games we should have talked about, even though we spent most of our time talking about cell phones.
And COVID.
And so next week is going to be Media Club, and we're going to be talking about Doki Doki Literature Club, the video game. Zach, have you started it?
I have not, and here's why.
Okay.
I found out that I really need to do a deep dive and clean my computer out. Okay. So I'm still going through files and I'm almost done. But like I started downloading it and I was like, oh, hey, I'm running real slow right now. Oh my gosh. Wow. So there's stuff from here from like college I don't need anymore. That I should really get rid of.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let me know when you start because I will start at the same time as you.
Okay, for sure.
And you can text me your live reactions because I'm very excited for it.
You know what? I've actually been pretty stoked about it the more I've been thinking about it too. I've never played a game like this before, and I don't know really what to expect.
I almost want to push this and make this like we're not a Let's Play channel, but I think it would be really fun to stream or record you playing this game. I think that'd be really fun. I know we don't really show our faces, but
I mean, we're not a Let's Play, but we can. It's funny you mentioned that. I thought about that earlier. Like, there's certain things I think would be funny to like do live and like like our first like in your actual studio again recording when we crack that giant beer that I have in my fridge.
God, I'm so excited. Not that I haven't been drinking beer. My God, we just went and did recycling and fuck.
Did you?
Made so much money. Made so much money.
For context, we live in Michigan, so everything is 10 cents. Let's start there.
Yeah, I guess not everyone has recycling.
California paid you less, but they also didn't care if you sorted everything.
Yeah.
Everything back, which I personally prefer more because I have to go to 14 different stores to return everything.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, not worth it. Okay, so if we're open to the idea of recording a Let's Play of you going through this game, maybe I want to change what Media Club is. And I know we already said... Shit. No, let's just do Doki Doki. We can, if you want to record yourself playing, I would love to throw in. Or if you want to just like record yourself reacting to the game, I would love to throw it in the episode. But
I mean, I can do that.
I don't know. I think there will be some good reactions from
ladies and gentlemen. You are watching live as Calvin's creative wheels start turning. And
we do this every
anything
time.
That gets inside there. If you drop an almond in there, it'll get crushed and molded into a delicious almond butter of thought and reason. Because Calvin, when his mind gets rolling, you cannot stop him. He is the creative, artistic force behind this podcast is for nerds. His whole background is media and marketing. This is what he does. I bring the fire, and he sets your asses ablaze. That's because that's what we do here on this podcast. It's for nerds.
That was a beautiful outro.
If you want more seat warming on a cold day in Michigan feels. If you miss that, the time when you get in your car and it's all leather seating and it's snowing outside, the very first snow, the pristine snow, the first frost, sub-zero, and your car seat is nice and warm and ready to caress your backside to keep you warm, come on back to this podcast because we bring that feeling of comfort and warmth with Calvin's almond-busting gears of creativity because this is podcasts. This is a podcast. This is a podcast. I have words. I know how to use them because this podcast is for nerds.